Brian Cotton, keep pounding. You know, I started this page before the 2014 season. It was after the Panthers had gone 12-4, and I was really excited about the 2014 season. Made videos up until I think it was about mid-season. Basically, the Panthers were having a bad year that year. They did rebound and win the NFC South, which is kind of like it didn't really matter because the NFC South was garbage that year. But anyway, I kind of stopped making videos, and I wanted to make them again, and to start the 2015 season. But I didn't want to be accused of being a fair weather fan because I had quit making these videos. When things weren't going well, and I didn't make any videos this year just because there was a lot of things in my personal life that were kind of like transitions. I welcome twins. Me and my wife did, so they're a handful. So, but anyway, I want to kind of try to be active again. Talking about the Panthers, I love the Panthers. They're my team. That's who I roll with. So. I love talking Panthers football. I would love to become more engaged with it. I'm not a trash talker, just kind of just want to stick with the Panthers. Although I might, drop a low blow on the Falcons or the Saints or the Buccaneers or really any team I don't like, which is, it's not really that many. But anyway, what I want to talk about today is how can the Panthers rebound in 2017 from this bad season they had. It was just announced today. Sean McDermott was hired as the head coach for the Buffalo Bills. I wish him the best of luck. The thing about losing your defensive coordinator when your head coach is a defensive-minded coach, or vice versa, when you lose your offensive coordinator and your coach is an offensive coach, it doesn't really hurt as bad because you kind of wonder how much of it was McDermott and how much of it was Rivera. And that's one of the things it's either Skip Bayless or Colin Cowherd will say all the time, is when you're evaluating these coaches, like if you have take Mike Shula, for example, last year. The Panthers were the number one scoring offense in the NFL. A lot of that did have to do with the defense creating turnovers and giving them good field position, but they had the number one offense last year. You can say that was Mike Shula because Rivera's a defensive-minded coach. He pretty much just leaves Shula alone. But with the defense, Ron Rivera's hands are all over that defense. Steve Wilkes is a guy that's been with Rivera for a long time. He's actually the assistant head coach. He's gonna be promoted. I read just a few minutes ago. So not a lot's going to change for the Panthers on defense. One of the things that I think that the Panthers have to do, though, going forward is that Rivera's talked about it. This offense has got to evolve and it's got to change. Because I saw too many times this year where Cam Newton was hung out to dry because there were injuries all over the offensive line. But even before the injuries, all of the routes were these long, drawn-out, Cam Newton sitting back in the pocket, and, it's like 5 and 6 seconds. Nobody's getting open. And, he was getting knocked around, and he felt like, which that's a whole nother story. I don't think Cam Newton personally should have publicly went after the officials the way he did after the Cardinals game. He had every right to because, they went low on him, and, I'm still shocked that he didn't tear his knee up on that play. But anyway, they call these long, drawn-out passing plays. They don't have the offensive line for that. You want to save Cam Newton because what ended up happening is what they're trying to do is they're trying to take advantage of his strong arm. He's got a rocket arm. They're trying to take advantage of that. So if somebody gets open, he's got the arm to get it down the field. And also you take advantage of his athletic ability because if nobody's open down the field, all the cornerbacks, the safeties, maybe even the linebackers, they're all back in coverage. But, the Denver Broncos laid the foundation on how you beat that during the Super Bowl. And it's been copied, all season long. The Vikings did it to them in week 3 when they got beat by Minnesota. the blueprint's been laid out. So they've got to, like Ron Rivera said, evolve. And, I hear a lot of people, I'm active in the message boards and Facebook forums and all that. A lot of people are saying that they're trying to make Cam Newton a pocket passer and it's going to fail. They're not trying to make him Tom Brady. He's never going to be Tom Brady. What they're trying to do is switch up how they're doing the offense. If you have these quick routes, you've got Kelvin Benjamin and Devin Funchess, who are 6'5". They're big-bodied wide receivers. They're not fast, though. They don't have the quicks to run these elaborate routes. That's why Ted Ginn's the only one that did anything this year, because he's fast. So I think that's one thing. I completely agree with Ron Rivera on that. You've got to not make it so complicated on offense. You still got the strong running game. So I do agree that they've got to stop with these long, drawn-out plays because it happens so many times. And by the end of the season, Cam Newton against the Buccaneers the last game, he's just throwing it up for grabs. He's just like, please, somebody make a play. Kelvin Benjamin and Devin Funchess don't have the speed or the elite route running abilities to run these long, drawn-out plays because by nature of it being these long plays, you have to be fast and you have to get open quick. Even though it's a long play, they don't have the speed for that. So I do think that not trying to be too cute on offense, just running quick passing plays. You got to save Cam Newton. I mean, he's taken more hits than any quarterback, and a lot of it does have to do with his style of play, his running. But you've got to savor him. I mean, you've got to, he's going to be 27. He's starting to get up there in football years, and he really, with the amount of hits he's taken, it's almost like you can add 2 or 3 years to how long he's played because he just takes so many hits. And you got to protect him if they want him around long term. He's not going to be a guy that's going to play into his mid-30s. I don't think. I think that he's probably got 3 more good years where he's in his physical prime, and if he can become a more accurate passer, he'll last a little bit longer. But his style of play it's not meant to be like Tom Brady. He's not going to be 40 years old slinging passes. So that's the one thing is on the offense. They've got all this cap room. I think Dave Gettleman made a mistake last year in not keeping Josh Norman. But it is what it is. I don't think they should have paid him obviously they shouldn't have paid him what the Washington Redskins paid him. They should have just kept the franchise tag on him. And if it works out, then that's great for them. If it didn't work out, they're where they're at now. But Darryl Worley and James Bradbury, they really stepped up. They really stepped up last year, towards the end of the year, this year. So, it's kind of give and take. They kind of did what they did after the 2013 season. They kind of trimmed some fat, and they said, I don't know if they consciously said this or not, but it was almost like they were like, we'll take our lumps this year and we'll prepare ourselves for success later. They're going to have, from what I've read, about $60 million in cap space. One guy that they could release if a guy like the LSU running back, I don't know how to pronounce his name, Fortney. I'm not a college football guy. But, he's a guy that maybe he's there at 8. Jonathan Stewart will be the guy that it can kind of be like a salary cap restructure or casualty. If they get a young dynamic running back in the draft at number 8. I'm not saying they should draft a running back, but if they go that route, you can cut Stewart, save some more money. They've got to re-sign K'Wan Short. I know his numbers went down, but he's still an athletic guy that's proven that he can play. Maybe you just give him the franchise tag. But if you got $60 million in cap space, you got to keep Mario Addison. And you've got to get some offensive line depth. I mean, I'm not saying that you go out and you overpay a tackle just because you need one, or you draft a tackle high just because you need one. But, they're going to have the salary cap space to do some work. So I think absolutely they can rebound. I think they've got to get back to having fun again. I think that Cam Newton this year was playing head games with himself a lot. By the end of the year, I could just tell he was worn out. He was done, especially after that Monday Night Football game, and they were essentially eliminated from the playoffs. that was like their last stand on primetime Monday Night Football, and that they were playing for pride. And you could just tell they weren't in it the last couple of games. I even commented on my Facebook that I've never seen the Panthers lay down under Ron Rivera the way they did against the Falcons. But those are just some ideas. I don't want to talk for 30 minutes. I could talk for 30 minutes about things. But I do want to be more active on here, talk about my Panthers. I would love to engage with some Panthers fans or non-Panthers fans. Just keep in mind, I'm not a trash talker. If I say something you don't agree with, that's fine. I'll debate with you, but, I try to be respectful of people as much as I can be, unless you disrespect me. But, at the end of the day, we're all football fans. If you're a Panthers fan and you disagree with anything I say about the Panthers, we just want the Panthers to be better. If you're a non-Panthers fan and you're just trolling or whatever, I'm probably just going to ignore you. So anyway, just keep pounding. I'm excited for the draft. I'll probably get on here and talk about my thoughts about the draft. I'm not a draft guru because I don't follow college football that much, but that was a hell of a game in the national championship game between Clemson and Alabama. I was for Clemson in that game. I'm an Ohio State fan, but I don't like Alabama or the SEC. So anyway, just keep pounding. I'll probably come up with a video. Kind of what I want to do is like maybe once a week get on here and say something about the Panthers. And then once the season comes, be a little bit more active. So anyway, keep pounding, and I'll see y'all later.